everyone. This is Eric Hansen, and this is another edition of Treelawn Talks, which is our weekly profile of upcoming events at the Treelawn Music Hall and the Treelawn Social Club. Both of them are located at 15335 Waterloo Road, Cleveland, Ohio 44110, right off of I-90, between I-90 and Lake Erie. We are really thrilled to have David Miller with us today. He is the leader of Miller and the Other Sinners, who are playing Treelawn Social Club. That's this Saturday, March 23 at 8 p.m. It's a real special night for many reasons, mostly for the music, but also there's a great bourbon tie-in that we'll touch on in a minute. All information on this and other shows is on our website at thetreelawn.com. That's TheTreelawn.com. Anyway, thanks again for being here, David. I just wanted to start off by asking a little bit about the name of the group. It's kind of cool, and it leaves you scratching your head a little bit and intrigued. It left me intrigued. So I just wondered about that and where that came from, and also how it's different from what you had done previously in your musical life.
Yeah, so music has always been a kind of a part-time thing, and I grew up playing gospel music and playing in churches, and of course back in the circles that I was in, playing music outside the church was not encouraged. Let's put it
right.
And so I just hadn't, and when I kind of extracted myself from organized religion, started playing around, and that was all in the Buffalo, New York area. And in that process, had a band with my son and my nephew for a little while called Beautiful Bones. Then I joined another band called the Todd Eberwein Band, and then we kind of changed that name to Dive House Union, and that was kind of a jam band kind of thing that we did for about 6 years. And towards the end of that process, I really wanted to put out a solo record. And so that's where Poison Sip came out. And I worked with the Campbell brothers, who are world-renowned gospel artists, on that record. And that ended up getting played all over the world, and put out a second album still under my name called Same Soil. And that, was like the number 3 played blues record for a week in the world on radio. So it was like, okay, that's cool. But in that process, playing with the Campbells from time to time and various other musicians, and, not foreseeing that I would be David Michael Miller out there. And that is not, the most sexy name that you could have. I came up with Miller and the Other Sinners, which really all it means to me, it's just we're all in this together trying to figure it out. None of us have got it worked out. We're all part of this ever ongoing conversation, of human beings trying to figure out our existence and what makes sense and how to live with each other and all that fun stuff. So that's really all it means. That's the core of it, and that allows me to kind of take the band around, right? And I even joke when I do solo gigs, it's Miller and the crowd, the sinners. Right. We're always,
it works.
We're always together.
Can you talk a little bit about the configuration of the band, what instruments are there, and who's playing them, and if you had to, what kind of genre or genres you would place it under?
Yeah, so we go out in a few different ways. I go out solo. As a matter of fact, Thursday night, I'm going to be in Jilly's room solo, also pumping this show. So I go out solo. We go out as a trio, which is, what we're bringing down to Treelawn for the first time, which is Steve Davis on. I'm telling you what, it's worth it, even if I wasn't showing up. Just to watch Steve Davis play and sing. He's unbelievable. He's my keyboard player. He does left-hand key bass, plays organ keys, and sings. It is amazing, and he is awesome. Probably the best musician I've ever worked with. He's just and an amazing human being. And then Isaiah Griffin on the drums, this young, dynamic drummer. He's got all the chops. Gospel roots, but jazz and pop and funk, and he can play it all. Y'all will dig his smile. He's just back there on that kit smiling and makes everybody feel good. And then I play guitar and sing. And then, as we build, which, by the way, folks, we get enough people out here and start to get the word out for Miller and the Other Sinners, we'll bring the horn section, which is Paul Gaspar out of Rochester, New York, just an unbelievable trumpet player, and Dalton Sharp out of Buffalo, incredible saxophone player. But also, I'm just really lucky that I get to work with four other guys who are also just like extremely great human beings besides, being, amazing musicians to make music with. So we have a lot of fun.
Comes in handy because I know I've worked with bands where that isn't the case, and the musicianship is top notch, but they are about to kill each other.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens with people who get along too. But it's interesting because I'd heard for a long time all the stories about the black church and how there's a stigma to stepping out of it. But it's interesting in other non-black churches, it's still there. Still don't do that.
Yeah, no, it's certain circles.
Yeah. So this Saturday, again, it's Miller and the Other Sinners at Treelawn Social Club, 15335 Waterloo Road in Cleveland this Saturday, 8 p.m. showtime. Doors are all the way at 5 o'clock, which gives you lots of time to enjoy the other aspect of this performance, which is really highlighting a high-level but very approachable bourbon. Four Chords bourbon. It's the brainchild of Neil Giraldo, who's Cleveland music royalty, producer, husband of Pat Benatar, who needs no introduction. And Neil doesn't either. But can you talk a little bit about your role with the bourbon and how that all came about? But we're gonna just to reiterate, it's going to be a featured drink item with specials and special cocktail with that on Saturday night. But just can you fill us in on how that came to be?
Yeah, not that I'm opposed to 4 chords, but it's actually 3 chord. It's 3 chord.
Oh,
bourbon.
I'm so sorry. My bad. Okay, I'm getting ahead of ourselves. Yeah, 4
there
chords is too many. That's too many.
There are more 3 chords, and that's
I was just testing you.
wrong.
I was testing you, David. I knew all along. All right.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, so 3 chord bourbon is yeah, definitely, this brand that's out there trying to help keep live music live, right, and alive. It's been pretty exciting to work with them. I hooked up with them about, I don't know, 6-8 months before COVID hit. They kind of recruited me because their corporate offices are out of Buffalo. Neil, was just looking for some folks out there that were kind of struggling musicians because he remembers what it was like in the Northern Ohio scene when he got started, and he wanted to give back. And this was kind of a way. So they help promote bands like myself and events like we're doing here, help us with some travel expenses and things to get on the road and get the music out. And then they also, help, but just let people know about the brand by having a taste. So we're, I'm going to have a tab open for folks, and they can sample some of the wares, and we'll just have a great conversation, great music, a little sip. It's just it's one of those things where we can share a moment together.
Definitely seems like a nice match of kind of rootsy music and bourbon, and I think it's exciting. And I'm a big fan of companies that really put their money where their mouth is like that. And as we all know, the really cool original live music needs all the help we can get now more than ever. So that's great. Yeah, I think it just, in my slight defense, I think I was thinking of Four Roses, that bourbon. So that's it. Anyway, that's my excuse. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with that.
We shall not talk about them anymore. Right. No.
Anyway, so yeah, but I'm really excited about the Buffalo connection. This is a 42 North hat that I got turned on to this great brewery in Buffalo called 42 North. They did an event at the Grog Shop about a month ago, and I've been wearing it ever since. It's great beer, and we're going to be featuring that soon at the Treelawn. But I'm a big fan of Buffalo. I think they're kind of similar type city. And, and we're thrilled to just start that pipeline going of there's such great musicians there, and we're really happy about that. So anyway, again, it's this Saturday, March 23, 8 p.m., Treelawn Social Club, 15335 Waterloo Road, Miller and the Other Sinners. I think you'll really be blown away by this, and we're just thrilled you're going to be out here, David. And again, if you'd like to get tickets in advance, it's thetreelawn.com for tickets. So anyway, thanks, and we're really looking forward to seeing you, and appreciate your time.
Can't wait to play your room. Thank you so much.